If you had to take just one category, outwit, outplay, outlast, where do you shine the most?
Oh, outplay. The playing of the game, I think I would be very good at. The outwitting, a lot of other factors come into play as far as like who you're aligned with and your, the people that you can trust and count on. But as far as the actual playing of the game goes, I think I'd kick ass.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and the Restless Early Edition Spoilers. Nick lashes out. Young and the Restless Early Weekly Spoilers show Nick Newman on the warpath next week on My and R. Check out next week's early spoilers for the week of April 24 to 28, 2023 on the CBS Sudzer. The Young and the Restless Spoilers. Nick Newman delivers a warning. My and R Weekly Spoilers confirm Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, confronts Nate Hastings, seen Dominic, again. This time, he warns Nate to end his fling with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinl. And if he doesn't comply, Nick may fire him from Newman Enterprises. Of course, Nate loves his job, so he'll likely do what Nick wants. But if that happens, Vicky will be livid with her brother for coming between her and Nate, and she may strike back. If so, she could end up causing problems in Nick's personal life. Perhaps she'll sabotage his relationship with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Young and the Restless Spoilers. Nick goes to war for Sally Spectra. Young and the Restless Spoilers see Nick Newman battling to win Sally Spectra. But is Adam Newman's hold on her too strong to overcome on the CBS soap opera? Young and the Restless Spoilers. Nick Newman goes after replacement. On Y and R this week, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is irritated that his gal pal lost her job. He argued with Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinl, but she insisted Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, had to go, and he was stuck firing his bed buddy. What's worse on The Young and the Restless is that Vicky replaced Sally with shady Nate Hastings, seen Dominic, and Nick's got big issues with the guy. Vicky won't listen as her brother warned that Nate's bound to double-cross them. So instead, Nick confronts Nate directly and makes threats. But that won't likely help Sally get back her job. But she might like to know if he's fighting for her. And this isn't the only fight that he'll start to keep the beautiful designer at his side on the CBS soap opera. Y and R Spoilers. Sober Adam tries again with Sally Spectra. Next week's Young and the Restless Spoilers see Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, is sober and trying again to woo Sally. His drunk proposal wasn't a hit, but he's trying again. Adam says he loves her and knows she loves him too. Next week on Y and R, their public chat leads to a private encounter. Back at her hotel room, Adam kisses her, and the heat between them is definitely still there. But don't count out Nick Newman just yet. He wants her. After Sally kisses her ex Adam, she and Nick have a serious chat. Once again, he asks her if she's got unresolved feelings for his little brother. But will she tell the truth? Wonder Young and the Restless Spoilers. We'll have to wait and see. Nick battles Adam. Their dad's furious on The Young and the Restless. It's clear that Adam loves Sally Spectra on Y and R. And he insists that Nick Newman will never feel for her this deeply. Is he right about his big brother? It's true that Nick's been unlucky in love, and that he often woos the same women as his brother. So, Young and the Restless viewers wonder if Nick Newman has strong feelings for Sally Spectra, or in his animosity against brother Adam a stronger emotion. It must be hard for the redhead right now. After all, she's got a heartfelt, if drunken proposal on the table, and Nick Newman's never said, "I love you, Sally Spectra." Is he capable of loving her? Or is his little brother right that Sharon Roselle's Sharon Case is his one true love? Soon, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, choose his oldest son a new one. I&R on CBS Daytime? Nick and Sally waste no time on Young and the Restless. On The Young and the Restless, Nick Newman and Sally Spectra don't waste any time. With his little brother out of the way, these two are soon sizzling again on the CBS soap opera. Sally Spectra changes minds on Young and the Restless. Spoilers now see Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, getting a second and more forgiving look on I&R on CBS. Of course, Nick Newman's, Joshua Morrow, been a huge fan of hers for a while. And he's part of why Sally's getting a second chance with many people. No doubt, it also helps that Sally's no longer with Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, whose presence in her life was a huge red flag to many people. Already, the redhead buried the hatchet with Lauren Fenmore, Tracy E. Bregman, on Young and the Restless. Plus, Summer Newman's, Allison Lanier, even takes a second look at her dad's gal pal. Hearing from Nick that Sally turned down a big fat loan gave her pause. She assumed the designer had designs on her daddy's bank account. So Summer's chilling out now. Nick Newman faces new scrutiny on My and R. The Young and the Restless spoilers have Nick Newman in a confrontation with his mother, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. Now, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil, got her mother worked up about his being involved with Sally, calling her a distraction in his life. Clearly, Victoria won't drop her grudge, and stirring up her mom won't help anything on My and R. This week on the CBS soap, Nikki corners her son to grill him about his love life. She'll discourage Nick from getting in any deeper with the woman. But you can bet that Nick tells his mom that it's his life and his choice of a romantic partner. No one's been able to dissuade him from Sally on Young and the Restless, and his mom will be no exception. So, what's next on My and R? Nick and Sally are back at it on Young and Restless. Spoilers for this week have Sally Spectra alone with Nick Newman, and sparks fly. The last time they were alone in her hotel room, it was after she had her farewell rolled in the hay with Adam, and she told Nick to take his time and consider things. But she'd also made clear that she wants the elder Newman brother, and not the black sheep younger one that broke her heart. Everything heats up between them this week on Y and R, and the CBS press photos from Christmas show the two together for the holiday. The latest Young and the Restless spoilers indicate Sally Spectra and Nick Newman declare their romance official soon and take it public. They'll have some supporters and some detractors, but they're committed, at least for now. Watch to see them DTR, define the relationship, this week and then jump in with both feet. And let's hope there's not a messy woes the daddy pregnancy storyline ahead. But it would be totally soapy if Y&R went that route. Young and the Restless week ahead spoilers. Nick and Adam face ultimatum. The Young and the Restless spoilers week ahead see Nick Newman and Adam Newman both hit with an ultimatum. Meanwhile, Cricket spends time with her first love, plus couples updates and episodes January 2 to 6, 2023, on CBS Daytime. Young and the Restless week ahead. Nick and Adam slapped with ultimatums. Everything changes soon for Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. After Chloe Mitchell, Elizabeth Hendrickson, brings a pregnancy test, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, rushes to take it on My and R. But as they await the results, Nick shows up. Then, Sally's got to get rid of him. After the ladies hustle Nick Newman out on Young and the Restless, they read the test and find out she's pregnant. But it could also be Adam's baby. Meanwhile, the ultimatum aimed at Adam and Nick comes from their dad, Victor Newman, Eric Braden. He wants both Nick and Adam to step back from Sally, and he wants his youngest son back at the family business. But Nick Newman's in no mood to cooperate with his dad, or with Adam Newman. But how long until Nick hears he might be the daddy? And that Adam's got an equal shot at paternity on I and R on CBS Daytime. Young and the Restless week ahead spoilers. Victor pulls bait and switch. Nick hit by pregnancy bomb. Young and the Restless spoilers confirm Victor Newman pulls a fast one the week of January 16 to 20, while Nick Newman's stunned by the baby bombshell. See what else happens in Big Y and R spoilers for the week ahead. I and R spoilers. Nick Newman stunned by baby bombshell. Young and the Restless spoilers for the week ahead inform that Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, figures out his girlfriend is pregnant. Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, struggles with morning sickness next week as Nick stops by. Already, Chloe Mitchell, Elizabeth Hendrickson, tried to reveal the pregnancy to Nick by leaving prenatal vitamins lying around the room. But the redhead saw and stashed them out of Nick's sight. But Nick can't be fooled for long. Considering how many women Nick Newman impregnated, he knows morning sickness signs. So Nick calls Sally's bluff about tummy problems. and she finally admits she's knocked up. Will Nick flip out on her on the CBS soap? Also, there's a pivotal moment for Nick Newman in his new relationship. If he flips about the pregnancy, then Sally might see that she's with the wrong brother on Y&R on CBS. Watch all the action the week of January 16. See all your best Young and the Restless spoilers from Soap Dirt. Young and the Restless spoilers. Nick asks Sally an awful question about her pregnancy. Young and the Restless spoilers confirm Sally Spectra confesses to Nick Newman that she's pregnant. Will he say the one thing a woman hates to hear when revealing something like this? The CBS soap opera wonders if his reaction tells her everything she needs to know on the CBS soap opera. Young and the Restless spoilers. Sally Spectra confesses she's pregnant. Y&R spoilers this week have Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, noticing Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, is off. She's still got stomach issues, because this week, morning sickness rears its ugly head. And she's struggling to prepare her. Of course, this baby bombshell was not in her plans. Instead, she's been focusing on launching her new business with Chloe Mitchell, Elizabeth Hendrickson. But an unplanned pregnancy is never convenient on a soap, right? And a baby certainly wasn't on Nick's radar. First, because he just admitted he and Sally aren't in love when talking to his oldest son. Second, because he's already got so many kids by several women. Does he really need one more spawn on Y&R? I&R spoilers. Will Nick Newman ask the worst possible question? Young and the Restless spoilers wonder if Nick Newman will say the most awkward thing you can when a woman you're seeing says she's pregnant. Will he say something awful like, "Are you sure it's mine?" Or will he say, "Is it my brother's child?" Usually, a question like that would be offensive, because it would imply that Sally Spectra's a tawdry bed-hopping woman. Except in this case, those questions should be foremost on his mind. Even though they had sex recently, her boyfriend wasn't the only man in her bed. Recall, he walked in right after Sally rolled out of bed with his brother, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. The sheets were still warm and rumpled, but she was quick to reveal it was a goodbye rom, and she wanted to be with Nick, not Adam. And Nick hasn't mentioned it on Young and the Restless, but once she tells him there's a baby in her belly, he's got to wonder if it's his child or Adam's. Let's hope he doesn't imply that it might be someone else's, and ask if she's been with yet another man. Nick's reaction to Sally determines future on the Young and the Restless. Before this Y&R twist, Sally Spectra felt good about choosing Nick Newman over his little brother. Even though Adam declared his undying love and proposed multiple times, she somehow decided his more stoic older brother was a better choice. She said she was looking for stability. But is that a code word for boring? Because there doesn't seem to be as much fiery passion between her and Nick, compared to Sally and the Newman black sheep. But this pregnancy could change all that. If Nick's reaction to the baby news is judgmental, negative or accusatory, this could be the end of Snick. And soon on Young and the Restless, Adam learns Sally's pregnant and wonders if the child is his. We'd expect Adam to be much more enthusiastic about the baby bombshell. Will the brothers' vastly differing reactions make up her mind for her on Y&R? Spoilers suggest his little brother's interest might get Nick Newman to take back anything. Young and the Restless. Sally shocked. Nick unfazed over paternity toss-up. Young and the Restless spoilers have Sally Spectra in tears as she tells Nick Newman that there's another contender in the ring as a possible father of her baby on this CBS soap. The expectant mom seems to be fooling herself about Nick's happiness over becoming a father again. She can't see his facial expressions as she talks on the phone, but the Y&R viewers can. Now the reason for his sudden looks of disenchantment is revealed in a new interview. Young and the Restless. Nick Newman shows little emotion over baby on the way. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, seems to take Sally Spectra's, Courtney Hope, pregnancy in his stride. He talks about her morning sickness with as much emotion as he would if she had a runny nose. But Sally takes his Blaze reaction as a good sign. She seems to think he is fine with the idea of a baby, and he probably is, but it's likely because he doesn't have any thoughts of committing himself due to this news. Young and Restless spoilers say Sally Spectra soon takes it to another level. She informs Nick Newman that the baby is either his or his brother's, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. I&R spoilers. Nick is no dummy. In a recent interview, Joshua Morrow talked about his character finding out about Sally Spectra's paternity woes. He said that he doesn't understand why Sally wouldn't realize Nick knows already that this baby could belong to Adam. He watches her break down and cry as she tells him about the paternity debacle soon on Young and Restless. But Morrow said his character walked in on Adam and Sally just as they finished doing the deed. So, he's smart enough to know the Newman prodigal son could be the papa. So, it sounds like the reason that Nick Newman seems unaffected by it all has to do with Sally herself. Morrow talked about why he is low-key over the news of the pregnancy. Soon he continues to play it the same way once she tells him Adam could be the dad. But why does Nick Newman seem so unimpressed by it all? Young and the Restless spoilers. Easing up on Sally's already full plate. Nick takes the mature stand when it comes to Sally Spectra's pregnancy. He really cares a lot about her, so he steps lightly as things play out. He knows that she was very serious with his brother in their relationship. This mom-to-be already suffers from morning sickness, not to mention her professional pressures. So he won't add to that. Joshua said that his character will continue to play this low-key and see where it all goes. But you don't need the Young and the Restless. This is a man who recently told his son that he didn't love Sally Spectra. It sounds as if he cares deeply for her, and this may turn into love down the line. But for right now, Nick is trying to figure out where this is going. But I&R spoilers suggest that soon Sally seems to jump too far ahead of the game and sees this a bit differently. Nick wants to go with the flow to see where they end up, but it looks like Sally Spectra jumps to conclusions soon. She likely reads his kindness and caring going forward as a commitment from Nick Newman. With that said, it's possible they live happily ever after, but that's not usually the case on this CBS soap. Soap Dirt offers up the latest Young and the Restless spoilers daily. Young and the Restless spoilers next 2 weeks. Adam blasts Nick Newman. Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers confirm that Adam Newman presses his brother Nick Newman for answers on the CBS daytime drama. Also, someone rages while another fesses up in the 2 weeks of February 6 to 17, 2023, on My and R. Find out what to expect over the next 2 weeks with new spoilers for the CBS Sudzer. Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers. Adam Newman after answers from Nick Newman. Next week on Y and R. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, ends up on Adam Newman's, Mark Grossman, bad side. Soon, Adam faces off with Nick and he wants answers. So, he might suspect something is up with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and Adam might then question Nick about her. Or, Adam may grill Nick about their father, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, and his latest scheme. Later, Nick rescues Sally. Also, Adam takes a risk. Elsewhere on Young and the Restless, a big secret weighs on Chloe Mitchell, Elizabeth Hendrickson, and it may involve Nick and his brother Adam. In other drama, Lily Winters, Crystal Collil, brainstorms with Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, as they figure out what's next. Also, Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, blows up on Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters. I&R is full of drama. So don't miss it to see Adam Newman go off on Nick Newman on the CBS daytime drama. Get all the latest Young and the Restless spoilers and updates daily from Soap Dirt. 3 hot Young and the Restless predictions. Nick off the hook, Jeremy Stark doubles down and more. Young and the Restless this week has Nick Newman finding out if he'll be a daddy and Jeremy Stark back to cause chaos, while Victor Newman's got too many irons in the fire. Here are our top 3 predictions for what's next on Y and R on CBS. 1. Nick Newman is not the daddy. Young and the Restless prediction. E&R spoilers know Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, gets swabbed this week for a DNA test. So Nick soon knows if Sally Spectra's, Courtney Hope, child is his. It's probably a good thing she decided to do the test privately, so it'll hopefully be tamper-proof. But our Young and the Restless prediction is it's not the outcome she or Nick wanted. It wouldn't be very soapy if Nick Newman was the dad and that pushed Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, out of the picture for good. So, we fully expect Nick and Sally to get a negative match on the paternity test. Then, she'll have to tell Nick's brother that she's carrying his child. But if Nick Newman's not the daddy, Will he step away from Sally on Y and R? Maybe. Sally ignores huge red flag with Nick on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless spoilers see Nick Newman supporting Sally Spectra in the early stages of her pregnancy. But there is one big red flag that she's chosen to ignore for months now. Is it a sign that there's no happy ending for Snick on the CBS soap opera? Nick Newman supports Sally Spectra. Adam brought in soon. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Y&R spoilers for the week ahead say Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is there for Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, as she battles morning sickness and concerns about becoming a parent. Nick seems happy at the prospect of another child, but it might not be his. He and Sally acknowledge the elephant in the room, that the baby might be the spawn of Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, instead of Nick. They plan a paternity test this week, per Young and the Restless spoilers, and will tell his little brother at the time. Of course, she doesn't know that he told his son, Noah Newman, Rory Gibson, that he's not at the stage of falling for her, and it appears Nick's unsure if he ever will be there, despite how kind he's being to Sally Spectra now. Nick's big red flag. 2 kids hate her, and one's a stranger on Y&R. So, what's this big red flag of Nick Newman's on the Young and the Restless? It's all about kids. While he seems fine with becoming a dad again, that doesn't mean he wants more with Sally Spectra than a co-parenting and friends with benefits arrangement. One big hurdle is his grown children. Noah doesn't like what his dad's girlfriend did to his sister, Summer Newman. Allison Lanier. You'll recall that Sally engineered her move to Marchetti, so she'd move to Italy to get away from Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller. That's because Sally was conspiring with his shiesty baby mama, Tara Locke, Elizabeth Laner. While Noah's irritated, Summer's more than that. She truly despises her dad's gal pal and doesn't want her dad within a mile of the redhead. On Young and the Restless, beyond his 2 adult kids, there is another sign that Nick doesn't take Sally seriously. He never has her spend time with his youngest son, Christian Newman. The kid's old enough to be introduced to his dad's gal pal. But it's not happening. Will Sally remain blinded to her boyfriend's issue on the Young and the Restless? Right now on Y&R, spoilers remind that Sally Spectra is just trying to get through each day while battling nausea and anxiety. And it doesn't help that Nick Newman's devious dad just sabotaged her hopes for a deal with Fenmore's. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, called in a favor with Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, to nix the big presentation to Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman. So, she's worried about what she can do to get her new venture with Chloe Mitchell, Elizabeth Hendrickson, off the ground. Maybe, on Young and the Restless, that's why Sally's not looking too deeply at potential issues with Nick. Or maybe she's stalling to see the DNA results. Of course, there's always the chance Adam might try and rig it once he knows she's pregnant. But so far, Nick seems interested in a long-term relationship with the baby, and Sally might just be someone he's using for fun. The guy's got a track record and 3 baby mamas in his past, Sharon, Phyllis, and now dead Sage. Plus, he's an occasional cheater and someone who might be seen as a player on Y&R. Yet he's indisputably a good father. So if he is the dad, Sally Spectra might be lucky on that account. But that doesn't mean Nick Newman will commit to more than co-parenting. And that's one big red flag on the CBS soap opera. Nick undoes Victor's dirty work on Young and the Restless. Victor Newman's up to no good lately on the Young and the Restless, and Nick Newman's undoing his schemes left and right. Will the mustache go off on his oldest son once he figures this out? Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor Newman targets both Adam and Sally. Y&R spoilers tease that Victor Newman, Eric Braden, is busy taking aim at people, but he might be spreading himself too thin. With his focus on the front, he might not see Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, at his back undoing what the mustache does. CBS soap fans know that the old man's sabotaging Adam Newman's, Mark Grossman job at Jubot, and rather than letting it happen, Nick told his little brother what his dad was doing. So, Adam was able to alert Jack Abbott, Peter Birdman. Young and the Restless spoilers had Jack telling his old rival off about his scheme. With the Jabot CEO on high alert, Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, won't be able to conspire with Victor Newman to get Adam fired. But he doesn't know Nick ratted him out to Adam. Also, Victor undermined Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. He called Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, and asked her to cancel Sally's presentation and kill her new business hopes. But Nick told Sally and then contacted Jill to undo the damage his dad did, and Daddy won't like that. I&R spoilers. Nick Newman not letting his dad slide. Every day, Nick Newman fights his family over Sally. He's told both Victor and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel, that they need to butt out of his love life because he likes the redhead and has no plans to let her go. At every turn lately on Young and the Restless, Nick's shown he won't sit still and let Victor get away with his plotting. But not all of it. After all, his oldest son doesn't care if the mustache ruins Jeremy Stark, James Hyde, or Tucker McCall, Trevor Street John. But when it comes to his brother and girlfriend, Nick's not going to let his father get away with it. Even though the Newman brothers chafe at each other, they both know how their dad can be a meddling menace. The guys are at odds and bickering over a certain woman, but Nick Newman still doesn't want his dad to get away with messing with Adam. The oldest Newman son sees himself as good guy, so this is typical behavior, and Victor Newman should know that. Will Victor ramp up efforts to control Nick and others on the Young and the Restless? Spoilers reveal Victor will stop at nothing to get his youngest son fired from his job at Jebot, and he's already pressing Vicky to make room for Adam at Newman Enterprises, per Young and the Restless spoilers. She doesn't like it, but Victor will shove his prodigal son into the company, and she can't do anything about it, even though she's CEO. But Adam's got an unlikely ally in his big brother who's undermining their dad's plans at every turn. I&R. Young and the Restless Early Edition spoilers. Nick enrages Adam. Young and the Restless early weekly spoilers find Nick Newman pushing Adam Newman over the edge on Y&R. Take a look at our early edition spoilers for the week of March 20 to 24, 2023, on the CBS Sudzer. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Nick Newman angers Adam Newman. Y&R weekly spoilers show Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, pushing his brother Adam Newman's Mark Grossman buttons. Next week, Nick gets under Adam's skin. No doubt about Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Adam wants nothing more than to be a large part of his baby's life. Of course, Nick doesn't want to take that away from Adam. But Nick wants to be sure that Adam doesn't cross any lines with Sally on Young and the Restless. Indeed, it seems like Nick is trying to be the bigger man. But next week, it looks like he turns petty by antagonizing Adam. But if Nick's not careful, he may push Sally away. Hint: Young and Restless spoilers. Nick proposes to Sally. Young and Restless tragedy pushes him to action. Young and the Restless spoilers wonder if Nick Newman is so shaken by a tragedy that he proposes to Sally Spectra soon. Will Phyllis Summers' fake death plot change everything for this couple on the CBS soap opera? Be sure to check out all of Soap Dirt's latest soap spoilers podcasts on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Nick Newman shaken on Young and Restless. Phyllis' death hits hard. Y&R this week saw Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, hard hit by the death of Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. Losing the mother of his daughter has left him unexpectedly reeling, and he might do something stunning. On Young and the Restless, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, comforts him, but he's not told her that he loves her or tried to advance their relationship in any way, and she's still not met his youngest son, Christian Newman. Pregnant Sally is trying to navigate this complicated situation with her, Nick, and her baby daddy Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, but it's more complicated by the day. Currently on Young and the Restless, Adam's doing all he can to be supportive, showing Sally that he's concerned about her and the baby without being a stalker. But this tragic death rocking Genoa City could change everything. Sally Spectra is still waiting for more from her boyfriend on Y&R. You may recall on Y&R that Adam told Sally Spectra repeatedly that he loves her and still does. Meanwhile, she's never heard those three magic words, "I love you," from the man in her bed, Nick Newman. Plus, Adam warned her on Young and the Restless that Nick would never love her as he did Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. He explained to her that those two are endgame and he'd never love anyone as much. That rattled Sally at the time. We've not seen or heard anything about Nick introducing Sally Spectra to his son, Christian, but he talked this week about how much the kid loves Phyllis. So, if he's not letting Sally spend time with the boy, that's a red flag on Young and the Restless. Although she seems content to let Nick take care of her and warm her sheets, it's clear she'd like more from him. But it could be that this faked death scheme has a silver lining for this CBS soap couple. In fact, for a few couples as several duos get closer in the coming days on Y&R. Will stunning death prompt Nick to propose to Sally on Young and the Restless? Spoilers tease that thinking about how fleeting life is could motivate Nick. He just talked to Sally Spectra about how full of life that his ex-wife was. Then bam, she's dead on Young and the Restless. Maybe that'll get him to move forward. Could this tragedy of losing Phyllis push Nick to propose to Sally? If so, that would floor the redhead and also her baby daddy. It almost seems like Adam's waiting for his big brother to screw up things and walk away from her. Then, he can swoop in and reclaim the woman he loves. But if Nick actually proposes to Sally, that's a game changer. Because then, on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless week ahead spoilers. Chloe tricks Nick. Tucker beds Ashley. Young and the Restless week ahead spoilers confirm Chloe Mitchell tricks Nick Newman so she can help her bestie in episodes the week of January 9, 2023. Plus, Tucker McCall gets Ashley Abbott into his bed. Many other schemes are afoot next week on Y&R on CBS Daytime. Don't miss a moment as Chloe conspires to target Nick. Young and the Restless week ahead spoilers. Chloe Mitchell tricks Nick Newman. E&R spoilers for next week have Chloe Mitchell, Elizabeth Hendrickson, trying to trap Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. The last thing Chloe wants is for Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, to wind up with Nick's brother. And Young and the Restless spoilers remind us that Chloe knows the baby could be Nick's or his little brother Adam Newman's, Mark Grossman. With the redhead keeping her baby bombshell secret, Chloe gets to work. Chloe wants Nick to find out her BFF is pregnant, so they can get on with their lives. But to do that, Chloe Mitchell has to trick Nick Newman. Chloe needs Nick to get the info somehow. But Chloe doesn't want to anger Sally. Nick's gal pal got medical confirmation that she's preggo. So, what will she do? She's torn because it could be either man's kid. But Chloe Mitchell goes all out to ensure Nick Newman thinks it's his, judging by these Y&R spoilers. Watch to see how Chloe Mitchell lays out a clever trap for Nick Newman so she can make sure that her bestie winds up with a man she thinks is the correct one for her. Plus, there are messy breakups and makeups all over Genoa City. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers. Nick Newman arrested. Video. Young and the Restless week ahead spoilers find Nick Newman under arrest when Cameron Kirsten sets him up on the CBS Sudzer. Also, someone plays with fire while another gets revenge. See what you can expect next week on Y&R with new spoilers for the week of June 5 to 9, 2023. Young and the Restless spoilers. Nick Newman under arrest. Next week on Y&R. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is in big trouble. First, his daughter, Faith Newman's railing caster, Kat Boardmain, is poisoned. Nick knows that Cameron Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby, is behind it. So, he marches over to Cameron's hotel room at the Genoa City Athletic Club and gets in his face. Nick wants to punch him but refrains and punches the wall instead. Later, Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, seeks out Nick. He tells him that Cameron is pressing charges of assault. Nick says he never touched the guy, but it turns out that his face is bruised and battered. Of course, Cam is setting Nick up on Young and the Restless. No doubt, he gave himself the bruises. After all, the guy is a psycho. Chance has no choice but to arrest Nick. Indeed, he played right into Cam's hands. Now, with Nick behind bars, he can't stop Cameron from getting to Sharon Newman, Sharon case. But the problems don't stop there for Nick. If he's in jail, he can't be there for his pregnant girlfriend, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. He already feels torn between Sally and his ex-wife, Sharon, on Young and the Restless. So of course, Nick's brother, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, will be the one that's there for Sally. Then they may get closer, and Nick could eventually lose her to Adam. Elsewhere, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, makes a vow to protect his family at all costs. Then, he warns his son Adam about something. Meanwhile, Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, works with Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziati. Diane gets revenge on Y and R next week. Coming up next week on Young and the Restless, Jack Abbott, Peter Birdman, and his brother Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, team up against Tucker McCall, Trevor Street John. Then, Billy grills Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil. Elsewhere, Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, gets her revenge on Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson. Later, Ashley and her man Tucker announce that they are engaged. No doubt, her brother Jack is furious. The war between Jack and his sister is heating up on Young and the Restless, and soon, one of them will lose. Be sure to check out all of Soap Dirt's latest Soap Spoilers podcasts on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Phyllis makes bold move on Young and the Restless. Later next week, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, makes a hasty decision that could have major consequences. Red is facing several charges after faking her death, so she might soon flee Genoa City. If not, she faces prison time. I&R is thrilling and will keep you on the edge of your seat next week. Don't miss a minute to see Cameron get Nick Newman out of the way so he has a clear path to Sharon on the CBS soap.